However, just as Adjoa was about to step forward, she noticed something strange. The king's gaze was fixed on someone else, Nia. Adjoa couldn't understand why. Nia was standing quietly, her eyes wide with wonder as she listened to the stories. In the heart of the vast and ancient kingdom of Zambala, a land filled with breathtaking beauty and rich traditions, there ruled a wise and benevolent king named Kwaku. His palace stood atop a hill, overlooking a bustling city filled with merchants, artisans, and farmers. The people of Zambala loved their king for his fairness and kindness. However, King Kwaku had not yet chosen a queen, which was a matter of great interest and speculation among the people. In a small village at the edge of the kingdom lived a wealthy and proud woman named Adjoa. She was known for her beauty, which was said to rival that of the setting sun over the savannah. Adjoa had many servants and slaves, among whom was a humble and quiet girl named Nia. Nia was a mere slip of a girl, often overlooked by everyone due to her plain appearance and modest demeanor. Adjoa had long dreamed of becoming queen. She was convinced that her beauty and grace were enough to captivate the king. She spent hours preparing herself, dressing in the finest clothes and adorning herself with the most precious jewels. She would often stand before her mirror, practicing her smile and imagining herself sitting beside King Kwaku on the throne. One day, a grand festival was announced in Zambala to celebrate the harvest season. People from all corners of the kingdom would gather at the palace to enjoy music, dance, and feasting. It was also rumored that the king would use this occasion to choose his queen. Adjoa saw this as her golden opportunity. She decided to attend the festival and present herself to the king, certain that he would fall in love with her at first sight. On the morning of the festival, Adjoa called for Nia. "Nia, you will accompany me to the palace today," she said. "I need you to carry my things and make sure I look perfect at all times. Do not embarrass me, understand?" "Yes, Mistress Adjoa," Nia replied meekly. She was used to being treated as little more than a shadow, always there but never seen. The journey to the palace was long, but the sight of the magnificent structure filled Adjoa with excitement. The palace gates were open and people were streaming in, dressed in their best clothes. Adjoa walked with her head held high, her heart filled with anticipation. Nia followed closely behind, carrying a small bag with Adjoa's belongings. Inside the palace, the atmosphere was electric. Music filled the air, and the aroma of delicious food wafted through the halls. Adjoa couldn't help but marvel at the opulence around her, but she quickly refocused on her mission. She had to catch the king's eye. As the festivities began, King Kwaku made his entrance. He was a tall, regal man with a commanding presence. His eyes scanned the crowd, taking in the joy and excitement of his people. Adjoa's heart skipped a beat as she saw him, her mind racing with thoughts of becoming his queen. Throughout the day, Adjoa tried to position herself where the king could see her. She danced gracefully, laughed melodiously, and even engaged in conversations with other nobles, hoping to be noticed. But as the day wore on, she grew increasingly frustrated. The king had barely glanced in her direction. Nia, meanwhile, remained in the background, quietly observing everything. She had always admired the king from afar, but never in her wildest dreams did she imagine that she would ever come close to him. She was content with her life, simple though it was, and took joy in small things. As evening approached, the king announced that he would like to hear the stories of his people. He believed that through their tales, he could understand their hearts and minds. Many stepped forward, eager to share their stories, each more elaborate than the last. Adjoa saw this as another chance. She was a skilled storyteller and believed that she could impress the king with her tale. However, just as Adjoa was about to step forward, she noticed something strange. The king's gaze was fixed on someone else, Nia. Adjoa couldn't understand why. Nia was standing quietly, her eyes wide with wonder as she listened to the stories. She was plain, unremarkable, and yet the king seemed intrigued by her. King Kwaku stood up and walked towards Nia. "You there," he said. "Would you like to share a story?" Nia was taken aback. She had never been addressed by anyone of such importance. She looked around, unsure if the king was indeed speaking to her. Yes, you, the king said, smiling. I can see that you have a story in your eyes. Please share it with us. Nia swallowed nervously and nodded. She stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. Adjoa watched in disbelief as Nia began to speak. My name is Nia, she began, her voice trembling slightly. I am a simple girl from a small village. I do not have grand tales of adventure or heroism, but I do have a story that is dear to my heart. The crowd fell silent, intrigued by the humble girl's words. Even Adjoa found herself listening intently, though her heart was filled with envy. Nia took a deep breath and continued. Once, there was a young girl who lived in a village much like ours. She was not particularly beautiful or talented, but she had a kind heart. She spent her days helping those in need, always putting others before hers. One day, she met an old woman who was struggling to carry a heavy load. The girl offered to help, and the old woman thanked her with a smile. The old woman revealed herself to be a wise sage in disguise. She told the girl that true beauty lies not in outward appearances, but in the kindness and goodness within. She blessed the girl, saying that one day, her inner beauty would shine so brightly that everyone would see it. Nia paused, her eyes glistening with emotion. The girl continued to live her life with kindness and compassion, never expecting anything in return, and though she faced many hardships, her heart remained pure. One day, she met a prince who saw the goodness in her and fell in love with her. They lived happily ever after, not because of her outward beauty, but because of the love and kindness they shared. As Nia finished her story, the crowd erupted in applause. King Kwaku's eyes were filled with admiration. He stepped forward and took Nia's hands. Your story has touched my heart, he said softly. It is a reminder that true beauty comes from within. You, Nia, possess that true beauty. Adjoa's heart sank as she watched the king gaze at Nia with admiration. She had spent her life believing that her beauty and status were all that mattered, but now she saw that she had overlooked the most important thing, a kind and compassionate heart. King Kwaku addressed the crowd. Today, I have made my decision. I have found the one who will be my queen. It is not someone of noble birth or great beauty, but someone who possesses a pure and loving heart. Nia, will you do me the honor of becoming my queen? The crowd gasped in surprise, and Nia's eyes widened in shock. She looked at the king, her heart filled with disbelief and joy. Your Majesty, I am just a simple girl. I do not deserve such an honor. The king smiled warmly. It is precisely because of your humility and kindness that you are deserving. Will you accept my proposal? With tears in her eyes, Nia nodded. Yes, Your Majesty, I will. The crowd erupted in cheers and King Kwaku embraced Nia. Adjoa watched in silence, her heart heavy with regret. She had learned a valuable lesson that day, that true worth is not determined by outward appearances, but by the goodness within. From that day forward, Nia became Queen of Zambala, and her reign was marked by kindness and compassion. She and King Kwaku ruled together with wisdom and love, and the kingdom flourished. Adjoa returned to her village, humbled by the experience, and dedicated herself to helping others, hoping to find the inner beauty that she had once overlooked. And so, the story of Nia, the humble girl who became queen, was told and retold throughout the kingdom, a timeless reminder that true beauty and worth comes from the heart.